I don't like the idea of a man-made Pokemon. I know they did it since Gen 1 with Mewtwo and Ditto. I don't know. I think it makes... I enjoy it. Because you have Porygon. I don't think it's the worst idea. I don't like the idea of me taking out my trash and it suddenly attacks me, you know? Like, what determines what pairs of keys are alive? And what determines what pile of trash becomes sentient? And what pile of toxic waste becomes a living pile of toxic waste? Can I eat this ice cream roll and attack me? Exactly. When you think about the Pokemon world in a realistic sense, and think about, like, which you're not supposed to, that's not the point, I'm not saying that it is. When you think about it in a realistic sense, and you think about Pokemon like Grimer, like Trubbish, and it's a terrifying world to live in. Like, I'm just trying to take out the trash, I didn't expect to get mauled. Now I know next time I take out the trash, I need to bring my dog with me. Think about the first lines when you go into the tall grass in the first game. Like, they tell you it's dangerous to go on the tall grass or whatever. Like, if it's dangerous to be around wild Pokemon without having one of your own, then Trubbish is a nightmare. I don't know, the world of Pokemon would be horrible if it was real. Like, little kids and stuff would probably love it, but then, like, you explain to them that they can die because, you know, they stole their dad's car keys, and turns out that they turned sentient and, you know, didn't like him too much. Is it Chimecho? What Pokemon is it, like, lures kids or, like, kidnaps kids or whatever? Yeah, it's Drifloon. Oh, does Hypno do it too? Is Hypno another kid killer? What is with Pokemon and killing kids with Pokemon? Yeah, so Pokemon Yellow said avoid eye contact. If you come across this one, it will try to put you to sleep by using its pendulum. So, if you just run into it, it's going to try and put you to sleep. Not necessarily that threatening. If you lock eyes with it, it will try to hypnotize you. It is best to close your eyes quickly before getting hypnotized. That was in Pokemon Stadium. Like, the world of Pokemon is horrible for people to live in. There's this dude on YouTube who makes these videos that are like about like different worlds from gaming and stuff. It basically explains to you like why living in that world you wouldn't live. Like you couldn't live in that world. You would most certainly die. If he hasn't done one on Pokemon yet, he really needs to. Yeah. God, I always call it a Hat Goblin or Hat Witch. It begins as a goblin and evolves into a witch. Yeah, if you show too many emotions, it will shut you up violently, and like it can sense emotions for like, what is it, like 20 miles or something ridiculous? Like, Jesus, living in this world would be terrible. Like, you just learned that, like, I don't know, like, one of your loved ones passed away, and you're like in distress, so this freaking Hat Witch comes and beats the crap out of you because you were sad that a loved one died. Like, oh, I'm sorry that, you know, you lost your child, but can you stop feeling emotions? There's a bug that steals your soul. Didn't know about that one. Oh yeah, and the Trunk Ghost, one that's just a lost kid. Is that a thing? I can't remember what it's called, but I know what one you're talking about. It's a lost kid? The mask one is just a dead person carrying its face around. Really, and cries when it looks at it. Yamask. Jesus, man. Like, how is it that every character, just about, not all of them, most characters in the Pokemon universe are like happy-go-lucky? When you literally have criminal organizations that, like, are just about unstoppable until a 10-year-old comes along. And you have all these Pokemon that do terrible things, not just to each other, but to people and kids. The reasonable response is that Pokemon are generally not aggressive. Except for all of the ones that are described as only being aggressive. Like Hat Witch and them. They will murder people because they're feeling emotion. That's the only thing that we know about it. Like, that's just one thing that they deemed worthy enough to put in the Pokédex entry. That must mean that it's what it does more often than not. It's a terrible world that everyone is so happy to be in. Like, I think the odds of our main characters getting to where they are so slim that they could get this far without dying. Like, it shouldn't just be, you know, Pokemon trainers have Pokemon, and then other people use them for, like, chores and stuff. Like, no, I think everybody should be, when they're born, they're given a Pokemon to defend them from everything else that is horrible in that world. Like, when you reach the age of 5, they're like, hey, this is yours now. Just live until you're 10, get your starter. I mean, yeah. Just live long enough that you turn 10. What's the problem? Don't get lost in the woods and turn into a floating ghost log. Or get lured off into the afterlife by a balloon. Something that, 5-year-olds really enjoy. Like, Dark Souls has nothing on the Pokemon universe. I think in Pokemon Red says a boy woke up as a Kadabra. I'm pretty sure you're correct. In one of Kadabra's dex entries, it says that one morning a young boy awoke one day in his bed as a Kadabra. This guy's theory is that there was a Kadabra out in the wild, and he got tired of battling, so he broke into this kid's bedroom, killed him, and took his place so he could live as a human. Oh, I love this theory. And it said that it mind controlled. Their theory is that it mind controlled the boy's parents into thinking that he was their son. Why is this theory so great? It says that the Abra line, particularly Alakazam, is really smart, and it found the easiest way to live in a world was by integrating itself into a human family. That way it wouldn't have to deal with being attacked by wild Pokemon and potentially being killed, as humans will just heal him if he got injured. He'd never be out in harsh weather, and they would feed him and or put him in a Pokeball where he wouldn't starve to death. Holy God. 3 of Kadabra's dex entries actually mention a young boy of some type. Well, a young boy waking up with psychic powers. Dude, I love these crazy Pokemon theories. That is beautiful.